Good morning, dear children. Today we shall do the part 3 of the first chapter, The Best Christmas Gift in the World. I folded the letter again and slipped it carefully back into its envelope. So, the author, that is Michael, he's saying that he folded the letter that he has got in the he has got this letter where he has got in the roll top desk. So he folded that letter again and slipped it carefully back into its envelope. I kept awake all night. So that night he didn't get sleep. He was awake full night thinking of this. By morning, I knew what I had to do. So whole night he didn't sleep. He was thinking what to do with that letter. And by morning he got an answer. He knew what he has to do. What he did, I drove into Bridport. So he went to Bridport, just a few miles away. So where he stayed, from there it was just a few miles. I asked a boy walking his dog where Copper Beaches was. House number 12 turned out to be nothing but a burnt out shell. So he went to Bridford. The address was there on the envelope. So he took the envelope and he went there. So he asked one boy, and the boy showed him. So when he saw that the house, okay, was burnt. Okay, the roofs gapping, the window brought it up. I knocked at the house next door. So what he saw, that place was completely burnt. That house was completely burnt. So what did the author do? He went to the neighbor's house. I knocked at the house next door, that is the neighbor's house, and asked if anyone knew whereabout of Mrs. Macpherson. So he just asked in the neighbor's house if they know Mrs. Macpherson. What they said now? Oh, yes, said the old man in his slippers. So one neighbor, an old man, came out and he said, yes, he knows Mrs. Macpherson. He knew her well, a lovely old lady, he told me. So this old man, he told the author that he knows her very well and she's a very lovely old lady. A bit middle headed, but at her age, she was entitled to be. So she was now very old. So she was little middle headed. Okay, so now what happened? 101-year old. So she was 101-year old. So we cannot expect her to be very unforgetful person. Now she had become a very forgetful person at this age. She had been in the house when it caught fire. So what the neighbor told to the author, he told that she is now 101 years old. She had been in the house when it caught fire. So this Mrs. Macpherson was at house when the house caught fire. No one really knew how the fire had started. So uh, the old man tells the author that nobody really knows how this fire started, and she was in the house at that time. But it could have been, well, have been candles. So he says, must be it was because of the candles. She used candles rather than electricity. So the old man is telling she did not use the electricity. Instead of electricity, she kept on using candles because she always thought electricity was too expensive. Now here she's thinking that she has to pay for electricity, it's too expensive, and that's why she was using candles at home. The fireman had got her out just in time. So the old man tells him that due to candles, the house must have caught fire, and she was saved on time by the firemen. She is in a nursing home now, she told me. So, this Mrs. Macpherson, now she is in the nursing home, that is, she is in the hospital. Where is she now? She's in Burlington House on the Dorchester Road on the other side of the town. So the old man has told the author, where is she? Okay, now I found Burlington House Nursing Home easily enough. So the author drove to Burlington House, that is the hospital, and he found this hospital easily. There were paper chains in up in the hallway, and a lighted Christmas tree stood in the corner with a lopsided angel on the top. So as it was a Christmas time, so what the what did the author saw? He saw that there's a Christmas tree, it's decorated. I said, I was a friend come to visit Mrs. Macpherson to bring her a Christmas present. So as he goes, he introduces himself. He says that I am the friend come to visit Mrs. Macpherson to bring her a Christmas present. I could see through into the dining room. So the author, he introduces himself and he says that I brought a gift for Mrs. Macpherson. And what he saw, he could see through the dining room where everyone was wearing a paper hat and singing. The matron had a hat on too and seemed happy enough to see me. So he saw that everybody is singing and he too was happy enough to see this all. So even offered me a mince pie. So even that hospital gave him a mince pie, a cake. She walked me along the corridor. So, a person who was going to take the author to Mrs. Macpherson. Okay. So, she greeted him, she welcomed him, and Mrs. Macpherson is not in with the others, she told me. So now, where Miss she went, she didn't find Mrs. Macpherson. So she told him that where she has to be, she's not there. She rather confused today, so we thought it best if she had a good rest. So she says that she's not sitting with everybody. Why? Because she's a little confused. As we all know, her age is 101, so she is a very forgetful person, she's a confused person, and so they thought that let she rest for a little more time. Okay, so it's best if she had a good rest. She has no family, so that person is telling, the person from the hospital is telling that she has nobody, so she has no family, no one visits. So she's telling the author that nobody visits her, so I'm sure she'll be only too pleased to see you. So she's telling the author that Mrs. Macpherson will be very very happy to see you, because no family member, nobody comes to visit her, she has nobody, and now that you have come to visit her, she'll be very happy. She took me into the conservatory with wicker chairs and potted plants all around and left me. So she took me into the conservatory, means a room with the glasses. Okay, and there are chairs kept and some plants are kept in that place. So she took him there. The old lady was sitting in a wheeled chair, her hands folded in her lap. Now he saw this old lady, she was sitting in a wheelchair, her hands were folded, okay, in her laps. She had silver white hair pinned into a wispy bun. So he's describing, she's telling, the author is telling that she was sitting on a wheelchair, her hands were folded and kept on the and placed on the lap. She had silver color hair, and they were pinned into a wispy bun. Now, she was gazing out at the garden. So, when as she was sitting on the chair, what was she doing? She was looking into the garden, gazing out at the garden. Hello, I said. So now the author went close to her and he says, Hello, I said. She turned and looked up at me vacantly. So as he said hello, she looked at him vacantly. Happy Christmas, Connie. So he wished her and he calls out her name and he says, Happy Christmas, Connie. I went on. I found this. I think it's yours. So the author, he went on speaking. He said, I found this. I think it's yours. As I was speaking, her eyes never left my face. So, as the author was talking to Miss Connie, her eyes never lifted my face. The author says that she kept on staring at him. I opened the tin box and gave it to her. So what he did, he opened the tin box, that he had found in the table. So he says, "This I found." Okay, and he gave it to her. That was the moment her eyes lit up with recognition and her face became soft, and she said nothing but stroked the letter tenderly with her fingertip. Okay, so she took the letter and she stroked the letter very gently. Sudden glow of happiness. I explained about the desk, about how I found it, but I don't think she was listening for a while. So, what happened? She was busy looking, and what the author was telling, she did not listen. Suddenly, she reached out and took my hands. So, as the author was talking to her, she was lost. She didn't listen to what the author was saying and she just took his hands. Okay, her eyes were filled with tears. You told me you'd come home by Christmas, dearest, she said. And as she was very old, a forgetful person type she had become now, and she mistook him. And what she says, okay, she says that you told me you'd come home by Christmas, dearest, she said. And here you are, the best Christmas present in the world. And she feels that Jim has come back. She misunderstands for the author. She thinks that Jim is back, and she said that you have promised that you're going to come for Christmas, and this is the best Christmas gift. What is that best Christmas gift? That is Jim. She thinks that he is Jim, and Jim has come for Christmas, and so she feels that this is the best Christmas gift in the world. Come closer, Jim, dear, sit down. So she says to, she's misunderstanding. She's thinking he's Jim, and she says, you come closer, sit down. And the author, he sat down beside her and he kissed my cheek. So the author says, sorry, Connie says that he sat beside her and he kissed my cheek. I read your letter so often, Jim. So this is what Miss Macpherson is saying as she's sitting on her wheelchair. She is very old and she is telling that I read your letters so often. That is her husband's letters. That is Mr. Jim Macpherson, who was a army officer. So I read your letters so often. When she keeps on and on reading again and again, again and again, the letters of Jim. Every day I wanted to hear your voice in my head. So she was waiting to hear Jim speak. It always made your back. You can read it to me yourself. So she says, and I always waited that you will come. And now that you have come, she says that you are going to read and I want to hear your voice. Would you? Do that for me, Jim dear. So this is what she's asking. She's asking, would you do that? What is that she wants him to do? She wants him to read and she wants to hear him. I just want to hear your voice again. I'd love that so much. So this is what she's saying, that I want to hear your voice and I love your voice so much. And then perhaps we'll have some tea. And she says that after that we'll have some tea. I've made for you nice Christmas cake, marzipan all around. So she knows that what Mr. Macpherson loves, and that's what she's telling. I have made a Christmas cake, marzipan, all around. I know how much you love marzipan. So marzipan is a sweet, okay, and she used to always make it for Christmas, and that was the gift. That was the dish that Mr. Macpherson loved it very much, and she knows that what he loves, and she says that I have made Christmas cake and marzipans, and this is what he says, that I know how much you love marzipan. That is that dish. So this lesson we complete, dear children, and uh, for your homework, please read this lesson and you can mark the answers. Thank you.